We're picking FiddleHead Ferns.
All right. We notice when the maple tree in our front yard starts budding out a little bit, usually the FiddleHead ferns are already up. Once we start seeing our lilac bushes, which come out just a little bit earlier, it's usually around the time we start monitoring or watching, see if they're coming up. It's amazing how quick in just a couple day window things can change, and sometimes they can get a little bit too far done.
In the mud. I like to in the mud.
Come here, Grace. So this is what we're looking for. There's a lot of different types of ferns out there, but FiddleHead ferns are one of the few that aren't poisonous. And see how it's got this groove on the stalk that looks like celery? That's one of the key things you're looking for. Also see how it's kind of got a little bit of this brown papery stuff on the outside. And we don't want these to be fully open. We don't want ones that open all the way up. We want them where they're kind of curled up like this. We'll just break these guys off. We don't want to take all of them. You want to leave some so the plant can grow for next year. So let's grab a couple of these. We'll leave these other ones here. So that's kind of what we're looking for. It's been like only 2 days since we've been out here. It's amazing how much these things have grown. So these are technically called ostrich ferns. They're quickly becoming one of my favorite wild edibles, and it was really a nice treat to have these over last winter. There's really no safe way to can these. So a lot of times what you do is you boil them for 2 to 3 minutes, and then you drop them into some ice water, pat them dry, throw them into a bag and into the freezer, and really a nice treat to have throughout the winter. So I'm really excited today. We're gonna pair these up with a little venison steak. I don't know what it is about eating venison and a lot of wild edibles. I seem to get this burst of energy. I feel really good after eating it. I don't know if that's in my head or just the wholesomeness of the food, but it's just something that I personally have observed. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna get these things cleaned up. First thing we'll do is try to remove as much of the brown husk as we can. Fortunately, a lot of these are pretty clean. And then we'll run them under cold water, try to get them cleaned up as much as possible. Then we have a couple options for preparing them. Generally, they recommend boiling for 15 minutes or steaming for 10 to 12 minutes. I personally prefer to use the boiling method, especially after you get a look of what this water looks like and all the material that comes off. I just feel like it kind of cleans them up a little bit better. So let's get into it. So one other thing I should point out when it comes time to identify these is there's no little fuzzy hairs or anything on the stems. They're all nice and smooth. So if you've never gone out and harvested fiddlehead ferns, I would definitely recommend doing it. Great excuse to get out in the great outdoors. Really a fantastic treat. Sort of remind me of a mild asparagus, or sometimes people say it tastes like a green bean asparagus mix. I think sometimes that green bean is just the texture if they get a little overcooked. I like them with a little bit of a crispiness. And a lot of times I just cook them in a little bit of butter and salt, which is kind of what I did after I cooked the venison steak. I threw it in the excess butter. If you're someone that feels a little uncomfortable or maybe doesn't have access to go out and hunt for some of these, I've heard that Whole Foods will sometimes sell these. These, of course, are very seasonal. For us, our season's maybe a week, and you got to get out there almost every day and check on them. And then when they're getting too big, where they're not really nice and tight and coiled up, the time is kind of past. I would definitely recommend, as you wander through the woods throughout the summer, to keep an eye out for them, because they kind of grow in a pattern, and a circle type, and then they kind of fold out like this, and they have that nice deep U groove. So you can kind of walk around and identify, and then take a look at the stock, make sure there's no furry hair or anything on there. And if you find some, they'll be around for the next year. Just mark them on your GPS and head out next spring. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Oh, come on, again?